How many federal laws have you broken today? If you think the answer to that question is zero, you're probably wrong. That sounds like clickbait, doesn't it? I promise it isn't. This isn't about some crazy conspiracy. It's about something I personally experienced that completely changed how I looked at federal laws and regulations. I was lucky enough to hear Justice Neil Gorsuch live in the Coolidge Auditorium in the Thomas Jefferson building of the Library of Congress back in 2020. What's memorable about that speech I will never forget was when he said, "I am not beholden to Donald Trump. Just because he appointed me doesn't mean I owe him anything. The law is the law, and I will follow the law." That immediately got my attention. Gorsuch is famous for saying there are no Bush judges or Obama judges. Supreme Court justices serve for life. They don't owe the president that nominated them anything. Their job is to follow the law. Some people do, some people don't. Over the years, I've watched Gorsuch stay consistent with that philosophy. Whether people agree or disagree with his decisions, he has repeatedly emphasized that judges administer justice without respect to persons, and he has ruled that way in a number of high-profile cases. That made me think back to everything else he said during this conversation. He asked us the same question that he asked his law clerks. How many federal laws are there? His law clerks were so proud of themselves. They knew exactly the answer. Then he asked them, how many administrative regulations are there? Nobody knew. He said he saw them visibly shrink right into their seats. My producer said I needed a smooth segue into the call to action. I may have misunderstood the assignment. So, if you could give us a like, comment, share, and most importantly, subscribe, it would be appreciated. We have more things coming. Now, here's your segue. So, here's the story of why you don't know if you haven't broken any laws until someone comes knocking at your door with a warrant. There are thousands of laws that change constantly. Here's how it happens. Congress, in their infinite wisdom, says they want to pass a law, but they're incredibly vague about what they want the law to look like. The new law goes to the respective agencies like DOT or FDA or other such agencies. Then the agencies will interpret what they think Congress wanted. Then if all goes well, a new law's on the books. But wait! Now there is another wrench thrown into the mix. Every time any leadership changes across departments, agencies, Congress, or even the office of the president, they now want it to be something different than how it was originally interpreted. So now the law changed, and the next president wants something completely different again. And worse, they don't tell you when and what changed, and no one cares because it's not sexy enough to be covered by the news. The realization hit me like a ton of bricks. I never really appreciated the total magnitude of how these can truly impact everyday Americans, even though most people have never heard about it. That's really the point. Most of us try to follow the law. The problem is that there are so many laws and regulations that it's practically impossible for us to know every one of them. And the media is too concerned with ratings and market share. So, these changes, big or small, can impact us without any warning because the news rarely, if ever, says a word about it. So, I'm going to give you an example that Gorsuch gave us during his conversation. Ketchup. Yes, ketchup. The government literally has standards for how ketchup is supposed to flow. If it doesn't meet those standards, it can actually be classified as substandard. I remember sitting there thinking, substandard ketchup. I honestly had no idea that that was even a thing. There were actually lawsuits, U.S. attorneys, federal judges, the FDA. It's ridiculous the amount of time and money wasted on ketchup. Really. The whole idea is ridiculous, but unfortunately, it's true. So let's go back to where we started. How many federal laws have you broke today? I know I may have done one on the segue. The honest answer is none of us really know. And maybe that's a question worth thinking about. I originally went to the conversation because I wanted to hear how a Supreme Court justice interpreted the law. However, I walked away realizing just how enormous our administrative system has become. It's amazing how many rules and regulations quietly exist that most of us never think about until someone points it out. Thank you so much for watching. If there's anything ever that you want us to look into, let us know in the comments below.